welcome back from that short break. Now in studio today we have Andrew Watchorn, who is a Goodwill Ambassador of the Kiira Electric Vehicle Project. And Uganda is now a part of it, so we want to get more details and get to know more about the project. You're very welcome to our studios. So much. Yes. Yeah. Please tell us something about yourself. Introduce yourself.
So I started to come to Uganda 10 years ago and work with MIT to do remotely controlled labs. Now, the technology from National Instruments was so flexible that we were actually, when the Kiira Motors project was started within Makerere University, yes, they used our technology to run the first Kiira EV.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you are one of the Goodwill Ambassadors of the Kiira Electric Vehicle Project and have been involved in the development of the Kiira EV Proof of Concept prototype in 2011. Mm-hmm. But it actually was launched in 2015, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So the team is now preparing to start the production of vehicles. Do you believe that this is the time, that it is now the right time for Uganda to be involved and start production?
Absolutely. There are two things that are important: time and people. Kiira Motors, we were doing a presentation looking over the strategy documents last night, okay, and the room was filled with master's degrees and people who have project management experience and economics experience, and so the team is very solid. Mm-hmm. Also, right now there are lots of disruptors in Uganda. Mm-hmm. The internet has become solid. There are mobile phones, and logistics is getting better. When I first came, yes, to Uganda, I couldn't get a Diet Coke in 2008. Okay. Now I can find them. Those disruptors together can allow a new vehicle company to happen, and that's the team and the time are right to do transportation in Africa. And it's not just me that thinks that. Edward Hightower just wrote a book called Motoring Africa. It came out just 2 months ago, and he's making all the same points. He's from the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor, okay, which is a university that was built on starting the auto industry in the U.S.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So do you believe that why should Uganda be concerned with making vehicles? Why should it be a big project for Uganda to be a part of?
Well, because the auto industry is so much revenue associated with it. Mm-hmm. A vehicle factory that makes 250,000 vehicles a year, which is the size of the vehicle factory in my hometown, okay, adds about $6 billion to the GDP. Right now, Uganda's GDP is $26 billion, so that would be a huge increase. Now, we're not talking about that size of a factory here, mm-hmm, but over time, mm-hmm, this can grow into something that can be very significant. And you would even notice, if you watch the international news, yes, that our president right now is very concerned about our auto industry. So every place in the world is interested in having an automobile industry. And again, with the right team and the right time, you can do that here now.
That's very interesting. So how can academia position Uganda as a competitive nation towards the middle income status?
The skills that are needed to make a vehicle company happen are very broad. Mm. We often think of the vehicle company as just the factory or just the engineers,
yes,
but really there's logistics, there's business, there's legal, these things, there's marketing. The skills that are built in making an auto industry span the entire community, and it's very interesting. Tesla Motors, which is a new vehicle company, a new electric vehicle company in the U.S., it's become it was the first vehicle company to IPO in 60 years. Happened because of disruptions, but the thing that I find most important is that they're not just a vehicle company, they're a solar panel and a battery company too. So there are spin-off economies that can happen because those skills are kept in Uganda. Now, what can the universities do to help this?
Yes.
They can train students, actually university primary all the way down to secondary. They can train students with application-focused, hands-on learning, because it turns out when you're in the auto industry, what you work out on paper doesn't always turn out to be what happens in real life. Exactly. So what educational institutions can do is to help their students practice problem-based solving rather than just rote learning. And that's what we've been doing actually over the past day, and I'll do it later today at Gayaza School.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
So we'll be including girls into the engineering experience.
Yes.
And building skill in them to help them plug into this auto industry that we're making.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for all the information. That was Andrew Watchman, who is actually a part of the National Instruments, and he's a Goodwill Ambassador of the Kiira Electric Vehicle Project. Let's take a short break and we'll be back with more stories for you.